Welcome to the project tonight. Fasten your seatbelts. Drive to Survive favourite Guenther Steiner joins us for a pit stop. I said that correctly, as he breaks down all the Grand Prix action.
I'm glad you said that correctly. Should Ozempic be subsidised on the PBS for weight loss? Why not everyone's on board?
And the secret to catching all the Zs. More from the experts as soon as we wake them up.
And the man who always has better days, Pete Murray, joins us for a special performance.
We're live from the lands of the Kulin Nation. Georgie Tunney on secret assignment. Susie Youssef away ill, but it's okay. We got Alex Lee back with us on the set. And in the hot seat, newsroom icon Sharon Gadellas. Thank you. Amazing.
You're going to call...
How do you feel?
No one's ever called me an icon before. Oh, seriously.
Well, you deserve it. This is where news comes to get broken. How do you, as in like, not we're breaking stories, but we take the stories and then we break them into pieces. Are you going to be okay with that?
How are you going to break them into pieces?
Oh, you will find out.
Okay.
Oh, smash
now
it
I'm worried,
and smash
Ro.
it good.
Now I'm very worried. No, hopefully I'll fit in. That's the main thing.
I'm sure you will. With that collar, you cannot go wrong.
You can't miss me, can you? Well, let's get into today's top stories. Anthony Albanese will join world leaders in a phone hookup tomorrow night to discuss a potential peacekeeping mission to Ukraine. Volodymyr Zelensky will also be on the late-night call. Opposition leader Peter Dutton says Australia shouldn't get involved, but the PM's keen to join the coalition of the willing.
In order to have a peacekeeping mission, you need to have a peace. So we look forward to there being peace in Ukraine, but we don't have to think very hard about which side we're on in this conflict.
The American influencer who outraged Australians by snatching a baby wombat from its mother has left the country. With her visa under review, Sam Jones flew out this morning. Immigration Minister Tony Burke reckoned Australia couldn't wait to see the back of her. With her departure, he says there's never been a better day to be a baby wombat in Australia.
Okay.
Pete Murray could write a song about that.
Oh, my God, it'd be beautiful. It would be so beautiful.
Today is World Sleep Day. This year's theme is making sleep a health priority, and it sounds like the Aussie experience is a mixed bag.
I just head on the pillow and I'm out like a light.
The first thing to go when I'm busy or stressed is my sleep.
I've become grumpy, I'm irritable.
I have a really bad sleep pattern, but I'm aware of it.
I often wake up at 4 a.m.
I go to bed and I just fall asleep.
Going to work, then having activities and having to go straight to bed can be a bit of a pain in the arse.
I'm grumpy and irritable all the time. Well, here to celebrate World Sleep Day is psychologist and sleep expert Maria Roberto. So, Maria, how does one celebrate the day? A couple of Valium and a glass of milk?
No. We celebrate Sleep Day by some great eye mask. We celebrate by a good teddy, fluffy slippers, pyjamas, getting comfortable, snuggling. There's nothing like a good snuggle.
I'm feeling sleepy already just listening to that. So why do we need a special day to celebrate sleep? I mean, there's a day for everything these days, but why sleep?
Because we are exhausted. We are so tired as a nation, and we are constantly on, we're constantly wired. We are forever checking phones, we have work tasks. And the one thing that we do is that we negotiate our sleep. It's one of the areas that we tend to compromise first before anything else.
Oh, sorry, wasn't paying attention. Checking my phone. I know a lot of people want this question answered. What is the right amount of sleep, though?
Well, look, it really varies depending on how old you are. So for children, they need about 10 hours of sleep because they're so busy growing. And they're so busy on playgrounds and learning, so they need more sleep. As adults, on average, about 8. That's what we need to aim for, between 7 and 8, but 8 is the average.
So if we're not getting that, which I'm sure a lot of us would feel is the case, how damaging can it be if you're not getting the right amount of sleep?
Yeah, that's a great question. The costs are huge. There is an increase in stress. We are more likely to suffer symptoms of depression and anxiety. But also the risks are really high. We tend to make errors. We're more likely to fall. We're more likely to miss things. We have a greater delay time in response to things. But also we are more susceptible to pain. The costs are absolutely huge.
Now, I'm hearing about all of these terrible things that happen if you don't get enough sleep. My biggest problem is lying in bed trying to sleep while stressing about all the things that are going to happen if I'm not sleeping enough. I mean, what can I do?
That is exactly right. And you are not alone, because it is so common. And insomnia is one of those conditions that we see when we don't pay attention to sleep, when we're not paying attention to sleep hygiene. So one of the things that science talks about is if you are lying in bed and you are wired and you are not falling asleep, then get up. 20 minutes in bed if you are fully awake. Our brain is an associative organ. So if you lay asleep in bed and you stay awake, your brain is going to associate bed with awake. So get up, go for a walk, go and grab some water, not too much because then you don't want to be running to the toilet either. But think about ways to calm, breathing, also thinking about some nice things so that your brain isn't thinking about all the worries that are going through your mind.
That's great advice, Maria. Thank you very much. It's well past your bedtime. We'll let you get to your eye mask and your teddy. Thank you very much. Happy sleep day.
Stay with us, stay awake. Time for a break. See you on the other side.
Coming up, the landmark native title victory 60 years in the making. Why the Commonwealth is now up for millions in compensation. Plus, comedian Alex Ward is bringing the Friday night laughs. You're watching The Project.
Welcome back to The Project.
I don't know about you, but I love a good political speech. And I've got good news, everybody, because Queensland Deputy Premier Jarrod Blade delivered an absolute doozy. Please enjoy this with the most stirring rallying cry I'm sure you've ever heard.
And I know it hurts the Labor Party to learn that I'm more blue-collar than they are. It hurts them to learn that my dad was a truckie, my daughter's a flying fly-out gold miner, and it would hurt them that I'll tell you what happened to me. I worked at KFC and I worked in a chicken abattoir. Take that. I was a blue-collar worker and I still eat chicken.
Yeah, yeah. Their screams haunt me in the night, but I still eat chicken.
I mean, say what you will about Deputy Premier Blade. He sees things through. He kills the chicken, he cooks the chicken, and he does a weird brag about eating the chicken in Parliament.
And then even styles his hair like a rooster's crest. Beautiful,
I
beautiful.
thought the handkerchief in the pocket gave it away that he's very blue collar.
A classic blue collar.
But that's not all we have, because, ladies and gentlemen, news. If you don't give it the respect it deserves, it will haunt your dreams like Freddy Krueger. But I am here to steer you through the horrors and avoid the finger knives of misinformation. Come with me as I wrap up the week. Scientists in China are thrilled to announce they've used a 3D printer to create a penis implant, Sharon, to correct erectile dysfunctions in, wait for it, pigs. Yes, good news, Porky. It's not just the big bad wolf doing all the huffing and puffing now. An Aussie pizza chain has caused a sensation by announcing they've got a new topping. It's ham and oranges. Yeah. Well, come on. Who hasn't bitten into a pizza and thought, this is great, but you know what would be better? If it had the look and texture of Donald Trump's skin. Tobacco stores are coming under fire for attempting to entice children by having popular cartoon characters displayed in their shop fronts. Oh, and now I get it. That explains why my local shop has been selling cartons of Winnie Poohs. After more than a decade of searching, astronomers have finally found the source of these mysterious radio signals that they've been getting from space. The culprits they've discovered are red and white dwarf stars, and the radio signals, they're not much. The ones that they've received are just repetitive bursts of dull, nondescript sounds, yet still they're outrating Kyle and Jackie O in Melbourne. And finally, a family in England was shocked after their hen took 5 hours to lay a whopper of an egg because, we're all suddenly glad we're not chickens. Because it was 175 grams, it's 3 times the size of a normal egg. There was one eyewitness at the very business end with a literal bird's eye view. Here was their report.
And I still eat chicken!
Cock-a-doodle-doo! I'll see you in your dreams.
More Project after the break.
Welcome back to The Project. Guenther Steiner live at the desk very soon.
In a landmark ruling, the High Court has found the Commonwealth should pay compensation to one of Australia's most prominent Aboriginal clans for the loss of their land. The decision triggering warnings taxpayers may now be forced to fund claims spanning a century of Indigenous dispossession. This story contains the names and images of people who've died. This is the Gove Peninsula in remote northeast Arnhem Land in the Northern Territory.
Traditional owners, as we know, have existed and, practising culture on that land for thousands of years.
In 1968, the Commonwealth Government leased the land to mining consortium Nabalco. The traditional owners were kicked off and their ties to the land severed.
That land was essentially sold off, and so they would have had dreaming stories related to that particular area. They would have had sites that they would visit and, carry out cultural practices and ceremony. Those rights were actually taken away and extinguished. 25 years later, native title was first recognised in Australian law in the wake of the landmark Mabo ruling that established Australia was not terra nullius or belonging to no one at the time of European settlement.
The High Court has recognised there were people here and their descendants have rights.
Native title recognises Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples' pre-existing rights to land and waters, the right to fish, hunt, perform ceremony and protect cultural sites. But to claim native title, traditional owners must prove they have an ongoing connection to land and continue to practice their culture there. Now, as the mining activity on the Gove Peninsula winds up, leaving the land destroyed, the Guenther people have taken on the government and won in a landmark native title case.
Justice has been served in this country for my people.
Today is a victory for decency, common sense and the rule of law in this country.
The case was launched by the late land rights activist Dr Yunupingu in 2019.
The mastermind of all is the one that had the vision of what is yet to come.
Central to Yunupingu's case was while the traditional owner's connection to the land was destroyed more than 60 years ago, the government failed to act on just terms when they leased the land for mining. The just terms clause means the government must pay a landowner fairly if they acquire their property. The term made famous in the film The Castle, where a family fights to keep their home from being acquired despite the government's offer of compensation for it.
What are just terms when you've had your traditional country taken from you without your consent, when you've had your sacred places destroyed?
How do you put a price on cultural loss?
In 2023, the federal court ruled in Yunupingu's favour that taking away native title rights is like taking property, so the just terms guarantee applies. The government disagreed and appealed.
Given the government has spent most of this term campaigning for the rights of Indigenous Australians, why did it appeal this decision about the rights of Indigenous Australians all the way to the High Court?
Because we made that decision that was in our interest to provide certainty.
The government says losing the appeal could open the door to claims from other native title holders beyond Arnhem Land, large taxpayer-funded sums dating back more than a century for everything from roads to leases to buildings. But this week, the High Court upheld its ruling.
Native title recognises that Indigenous Australians have a connection with country, which existed and persisted before and beyond settlement. It is older and deeper than the Constitution.
Does that open the door for conversation, billions in conversation?
Oh, look, the decision is, of course, not a final decision. There'll be a whole court process arising out of this.
Estimated at around $700 million, how much compensation the Guenther people will be awarded yet to be determined in court.
There's a huge opportunity here for Australia's government to work with us and walk with us. The economic opportunities are huge, so we look forward to what's next for the future for our people.
Author and history powerhouse Professor Claire Wright is an adopted member of the Yunupingu family. Claire, you wrote a book on the birth of the land rights movement in Australia. Did you expect this result?
Oh, look, it was a knife edge, it's certainly a nail biter, and these days you don't expect much, but I got to say no, I didn't expect it. It's There were tears all around, a lot of calls with Arnhem Land backwards and forwards, and it's an extraordinary result. Just so happy for everybody involved and all the members of not only the Guenther clan but the other Yolngu clans, Baparu, who have been fighting now for over 60 years for their land rights.
So do you think we'll see other groups pursue similar claims to this?
It's quite possible. I don't know. Every aspect of this law, I'm sure, will be tested and played out under its own merits. I mean, it's not like these are the only people who have had their land taken from them. That did not happen under just terms, and who will be able to be justifiable in their claims for compensation for damages done over the time in which land was taken and used in a manner that has been destructive to local communities.
The government could be liable for hundreds of millions to the Guenther people. Are you worried, Claire, that they might not see that money?
I know where you're coming from on this. There is always that, but how will it change things on the ground? Who will actually be the beneficiaries of this? But I think that gets us into a kind of negative narrative around what happens when compensation is paid by the government to First Nations communities. And I don't want to even scratch the surface of that negative narrative, because this is not the moment for that. This is a moment for absolute celebration.
So to you, is the real benefit of this the decision that has come down in principle more than the financial?
I think it's a decision in principle. I think that is what was absolutely fought for. And the compensation aspects, well, obviously, if you have lost something and it has been proven that what you have lost has actually been stolen or taken from you, not on just terms, you should be compensated. All of us would expect that. How it actually plays out in terms of what compensation is due to the Guenther people, well, we'll wait and see how that goes.
Claire, sadly, Yunupingu passed before the judgment was handed down. What do you think this victory would have meant to him? What I know is that he will be smiling somewhere about this. But he did say to me that he has seen every Prime Minister, met every Prime Minister since Gough Whitlam, and every single one of them had made promises. Every single one of them had determined to do better, and every single one of those promises was broken. So this is a moment, I think, where to have the federal court and then the High Court determine in his favour is a moment of extreme vindication for a lifelong project for justice for his people and for all First Nations people in Australia. It was a long fought battle, but finally he has his victory. Claire, thank you so much for your time tonight. Cheers.
We'll be back with more Project After the break, including Guenther Steiner at the desk. Welcome back, you're watching The Project.
Ozempic-style drugs have been life-changing for millions of Aussies fighting obesity, but their price tag puts them out of reach for many. Now, doctors are calling on the government to step in. It's Australia's fitness failure. 1 in 3 Aussie adults living with obesity, leading to a push to shake up our weight loss regime with a little less gym and a little more jab.
Wegovy is one of the most effective medications that we have on the market to date.
Developed to combat diabetes, Ozempic and similar drugs like Wegovy could revolutionise our battle with the bulge, with growing calls to list them on the Pharmaceutical Benefits Scheme for weight loss, making them cheaper and more accessible. Currently, when prescribed for diabetes, a government subsidy via the PBS sees the cost of an Ozempic-style script drop dramatically from more than $130 to just $30. But when prescribed for weight loss, patients pay the full amount, sometimes as much as $150 a treatment. And with obesity more likely to affect people in lower socioeconomic areas, a PBS listing could be a game changer.
There's a health inequity, and the people who need this medication the most are the ones who can least afford it.
And while the cost of a PBS listing for these weight loss drugs is estimated at $400 million a year, obesity itself is costing us far more. Its estimated economic impact around $40 billion a year. Ozempic-style drugs coming with other benefits, reducing the risk of heart and chronic disease, as well as the social stigma around obesity.
There's this outdated notion that it's an individual's responsibility and they just have to eat less and move more. No, this is a chronic condition, just like we wouldn't blame the genetics of someone who had high blood pressure or high cholesterol.
And while concerns remain about side effects, including rebound weight gains, advocates say a PBS listing still makes sense.
If a medication is effective, then we need it to be available, accessible and in consideration of long-term use.
But for now, Aussies wanting Ozempic to fight obesity are being forced to pay a high price for health. Well, time for more of today's top stories now. Anthony Albanese is still hoping to talk his way around Donald Trump's 25% tariffs on steel and aluminium. But with the US president threatening 200% tariffs on European alcohol, there are fears Aussie beef could be next. Former Labor leader Bill Shorten says Australia should push back dollar for dollar, but the PM says it's not going to happen.
We do not impose tariffs on US goods into Australia, and we expect the same.
And while Albo was talking about tariffs today, I get the feeling his mind was on other things.
This funding will value add to our high quality metals exports.
Okay, now Trump is listening. But you know, guys, if he wants some sexports, I mean, he just has to look at himself. I mean, look at that. Glasses and goggles. Now, there's a Prime Minister I'm interested in.
That's next level sexy. To more news now, and a large fire at the Gold Coast Hilton Hotel is under investigation tonight. Surfers Paradise residents captured the inferno on camera. Flaming debris could be seen falling 120 metres onto the street and restaurants below. Hundreds of people were forced to evacuate. The pool deck and 5 balconies at the 34-storey tower caught alight.
And I saw a lot of burning flames going down.
We came out the door just behind here and we ran through and I was like, I swear that was glass. And then by that stage, all the fires down here were out. You could still see the top of the building glowing.
Would have been scary. And the latest viral TikTok trend is all about roasting millennial burger joints. People are making fun of the overpriced burgers and truffle fries, as well as the chalkboard menus and rustic restaurant designs. A surefire target, string lighting and unconventional ways to serve food. The style is now so ubiquitous, even owners and chefs are asking if their restaurant fits the stereotype.
Okay, now, to be fair, I've never eaten at a place where you have to drink out of a gravy jug, measuring jug. But at the same time, to be sitting there going, ugh, stools!
I mean, as a millennial, I feel like I've got to defend the millennial burger joint. I mean, we were just trying to make our way in the world. We wanted to find something that wasn't fine dining and wasn't Macca's. This is what we came up with. I mean, I just want to say, Gen Z, leave us alone, okay? We're doing our best. We're trying so hard for you to think that we're cool. Please.
Although I love places just... I think we can stop with just serving food on big hunks of wood.
Yeah,
I've forgotten what a plate looks like.
Yeah, I don't know why we did that, but
I like a burger place where I can't fit the burger in my mouth. It's very important. It's very important.
Can I just say, as a Gen X, I'd eat any burger. Wouldn't matter what it was, what it was served on. I'm fine with anything.
Instead now, I can't take it back. Hey, we're less than 48 hours away from the first race of the Formula One season, and it's gearing up to be an absolute showcase. For many fans today, some of them are joining us live in the studio. This was their first opportunity to see the 7-time champion Lewis Hamilton on track in Ferrari red.
4:30 we got here, so a bit of an early wake up. Yeah, Lewis all the way. I'm so excited to see Lewis in red.
I know who I am, I know where I'm going, I know what energy and time and effort I need to put in to get there. The fact that out of 8 billion people, there's only 20 drivers in Formula One, and we're one of those drivers. It's such a privilege to be here.
Here with more expert Guenther Steiner! Oh my gosh, here we go. Thank you. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. So thrilling. Now, you've been at the track today. How is it down there? What's the atmosphere like?
Hot it was, you know. The atmosphere was very nice. It was very good. I mean, there was lots of people there. Lots of people. Very impressive how many people came out to watch the first free practice this year. But interesting also the racing. It looks like we are up for a good season this year, you know, and also looks good for the weekend because big competition. I mean, everything was so close. A few little surprises. Who is good and who is not so good. But no, all well.
Well, you've come to Melbourne before as a team principal. What do the drivers make of this track? I think they really like it, don't they?
Yeah, they all like it. They like the track. They like the atmosphere. I mean, if you are welcome so much, we are all human beings, and when you know that affection is there to welcome you, that's always nice. That motivates you, wants to make you go and do a good job for the people. And they all love, but also the teams, they all love to come here, because it's good weather, good food. What more you want? Good racing. Except what's not to like,
Well, hopefully the weather isn't going to play too much of a part there, but it's set to be the first wet Grand Prix in Melbourne in 15 years. Are we going to see some collisions?
If it is raining, normally there are some collisions. So, it's predicted to be almost for sure raining, but it's just like how much it is going to rain. I hope it's not too much that the race is, postponed or delayed or something. But, rain is part of racing. They need to adapt to it. But normally when it rains, there is a little bit more friction between the cars because somebody goes off and things happen which normally don't happen. But it can make also for a very interesting race and for some surprises in the result.
And as everyone knows who's watched Drive to Survive, you don't like an umbrella, so that's not going to work in your favour whatsoever. Now, is this a chance this year that we see an Aussie break the curse? Is Piastri in with a chance? Is Doohan in with a chance? What's going to happen?
I think Oscar is in with a chance for sure to go to the podium, onto the podium. And I predicted before we started that between him, Lando Norris and Oscar, there's nothing in between, in my opinion. It's a 50-50 chance who wins. They are, I think, in the best car. Also, again, it showed that the McLaren is the car to beat this year, which was already pretty clear after the testing, but the other ones are so close. I mean, Charles Leclerc was fastest in free practice too. So I think the Ferrari are very good and can challenge the McLarens in qualifying, but in the race, the McLarens in the simulation of the race, what you do on FP2 at the end, they were very fast. So I think it will be between the two McLarens. Obviously, as you said, the rain maybe disturbs that because somebody else could surprise us. But if it is dry, I think it is between the two McLarens. And Oscar Piastri, I see him equal to Lando Norris. Lando won a lot last year, finished second in the World Championship. I think this year it's between them two to go for it.
And what about Lewis Hamilton? First time he's wearing red of the Ferrari. How do you think he's going to go on the day? There's a lot of hype about his arrival to Ferrari.
Yeah, I saw him today. He even walked past the fans. It was almost surprised because normally he didn't do it. I mean, I think he really enjoys to be there, and embraces it.
I mean, he looks the business. Look at that. What a rock star.
Pretty cool, huh?
Very cool. You know what it's like. You know what the fans are like. You get bothered. Are they hassling you? Are they asking you to call them wankers and stuff?
They ask me a lot. Yeah, they are a lot.
Swear. During the break, you can swear at me.
Yeah. Not now.
Not now. But the way you said it's F-OK. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
So, Lewis did a good job today. Leclerc was better than him, but you need to adapt to the car, to the team, and obviously you don't want to overdo it in the first day of practice on a Grand Prix. But he was very consistent, very solid. Lewis is a 7-time world champion. We don't have to doubt him, I must say. We just can see how good actually is Leclerc, So we will find that one out. But no, it was all good.
It's the first Grand Prix of the season, so who knows what's going to happen. It'll be very interesting. Guenther Steiner, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Catch all of this weekend's F1 action on 10 and 10 play. Guenther Steiner, everybody.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Coming up, Pete Murray's here to make our day better ahead of his biggest solo tour ever.
Get down on my knees and I pray to God, hope he sees me through to the end.
This is The Project. This is The Project. Welcome back.
Now to Florida, and it's going to be good when a sentence starts with to Florida, where this cop had to finish off a pizza delivery after the driver found an alligator hiding near the customer's front door, and it all went off without a hitch.
Ma'am, get back over there. There's an alligator right under your car. Go in the house.
There's a big alligator under my car.
Hey, ma'am, could you...
Oh, my lordy.
Get in the house.
My pizza.
I'll take it to the back door.
Holy shit.
Forget about the alligator. The real apex predator is that old lady.
Well, it's Friday, which means you can either call it a night or instead get the evening started, just like our next guest.
I had to ban myself from a drink. That drink is the espresso martini.
found out I can't handle them. I had one and I was like, yum. And then I had a second one and I was like, okay, yeah, I want to fight. They're coffee and alcohol. They make you depressed with energy. How is that legal? Like, I don't know, so we just feed these to small, anxious women and think everything's going to be okay? But I went home, crouched in the corner of my room and found out it's possible to cry faster.
Get an account into this machine. How many drinks is she down? Please welcome the very funny Alex Ward! Yay! All right, so if it comes down to you can't blend caffeine and alcohol,
Yeah.
let's say you have to lose one, which is it going to be?
What would I choose? Coffee or
Yeah.
alcohol? I actually have experimented with this and I chose to lose coffee.
Oh.
I quit coffee. I quit coffee.
That seems like the tougher call.
It is, and you're acting way more concerned than anyone in my life. Nobody cared. I quit coffee and it was so hard to quit and nobody cared. Like, I remember I did Dry July once and everyone's like, you're so brave, you're so strong. And I quit coffee for 6 months and the whole time my friends were like, well, I could quit if I wanted. But also I was like, okay, because I had no energy to fight them.
How'd you stay awake?
Well, this is the thing. I actually realised I don't like being off coffee because you're just always the same. Like, do you know how it feels when you wake up when you don't drink coffee?
Yeah.
You just like wake up and you're like, ooh, and then you sit on the side of bed and you're like, well, I guess that's it. Just for the rest of the day.
This is me.
And you feel like I tried decaf as well, but you just
don't
kind of, no, because you feel insane. You're like, can I have a decaf? But really in here, you're like, hi, can I please have an adult baby chino?
I like to call them mummy chinos.
Mummy
myself.
chinos, yeah,
Now,
that's kid.
you love coffee.
Yeah.
Another love of your life. You also just got married. Congratulations.
I did get married. I don't know why I keep repeating it. You know what I remember? Can I be honest? It's the first day since being married for 4 months I forgot to wear my wedding ring.
I was about to say that.
Which means I look like I've just come on national television and I'm pretending I got married.
We do have pictures. It did happen.
Yeah, it did.
How was
I
the
got married
wedding?
and it was beautiful. I loved it. It's a beautiful day. I married my partner Hannah.
And
But
you did not
look,
marry
look at
Sam. You
this.
did not marry this
No,
clown.
this is it. Sam was our MC. Sam
Yeah.
Taunton from the project was our MC.
From the project.
Have you heard of the project?
I've heard of the show.
Yeah, and he did such a good job, but I did love this opportunity to just have a little bit of a go at him. He did a great job, but he definitely ran it like an open mic comedy night. Like, he was the MC, so he's up there and he's like, oh, this is like, we're doing speeches. He's like, this next guy, he's new on the scene. He was like, he's new on the scene. And he doesn't want family gear, but just roll with it, you know? And he'd be like, but I think you're going to like him if there's anything I've seen outside the venue. And he was just like, anyway, and this is Ken Ward. I'm like, that's my dad. That's his first gig, yeah.
Now, Alex, I understand when you got married, you didn't have a wedding car. You ditched the limo. What happened there?
Yeah, we got the tram.
Oh, yeah.
We got the tram. They weren't on the
dogs.
tram, not allowed.
There you
we
go.
are. Yeah, we got the tram, and I was pretty excited about because we got married like 2 tram stops from our house. So it just made sense to get the tram, but also we didn't have like a Bucks or Hens or anything. So I thought, let's just go on there. We'll probably see half a kebab. It'll feel like
Sure.
we've done it.
Do you get the cans rattling off the back of the tram?
Of course, and
for you?
also the tram, like, you're never the weirdest person on a tram. There was a lady in a wedding dress and it was neither of us. They were like, this was just another one,
Well, look, if you want to throw or catch the bouquet to see one of Alex's shows live, tickets to see Alex live in your neighbourhood, catch the tram there or otherwise, for the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. Tickets are available now. You can head to our website for all the details. Thank Alex Ward!
And continuing with the big name guests, he's a timeless staple of Aussie music and he's here to make our Friday night feel good.
Put my face in my hands, get down on my knees and I pray to God.
Back in the early 2000s, acoustic songsmith Pete Murray decided our souls needed a little soothing.
You think you're so beautiful, so beautiful.
Now, along with the familiar favourites, Pete's got a bunch of new summer sounds and he's hitting the road.
Look where we've come from, you and I. Our world has changed so much, it's time.
Please welcome the very huggable Pete Murray.
I don't want to break up the bromance, but I was going to ask Pete, this is your biggest ever solo tour. Is it 55 shows? It's an absolute marathon.
It is, yeah. I'm sort of wondering why I'm doing that many shows. It's kind of scary. But look, I've never done a solo tour before in this country. And myself and management, we've been talking about this for a long time, so we thought now's the time to do it. And just jumping in the deep end and going for it. So it's good. It's nice and intimate, and we're talking about the songs, and you'll see how the songs are in their raw state.
So does it worry you more that you're out there on your own? Because touring on your own is not as much fun. What do you do when you get back to the hotel room on your own?
Just talk to myself for a while, I guess. Look, it's fun, you know. It's two different shows. You got the band playing with you. It's fun because you got your mates there. It's energy, but this is kind of more intimate. I have fun talking to the crowd and telling people about the stories and where I've come from, where I started, how I started, to where I am today, and just, I guess, the stories of the songs and things that have happened along the way.
Now, you've just released your latest single, I Am Fire. It's a beautiful song. It's so inspiring. But I think there's something that's really brave that you're doing here, and that is you're bringing back the sleeveless hoodie. I mean, that is there. Talking about acts of heroism in your song, but what about the sleeveless hoodie's back?
This is inspiring, but that is inspiring.
That's inspiring.
Look at that.
Well, I like it.
After 1,000 push-ups, that's what it looked like, so it's good, you know. But no, it's good. I mean, I wear this stuff all the time in Byron Bay, and every time I do go out with it, it's called a muscle shirt, I think.
I bet it is.
Why would they be calling it that,
But
Pete?
everyone's going, oh, yeah, you're wearing a muscle shirt. This is what I wear back home, so I don't, you know. I'm actually wearing sleeves for you guys tonight. So out of respect.
You've covered them
Well,
up.
out of respect. Can I touch?
For those.
What about that? Can I touch yours? Dang, you can see it through the material. But so before you shoot the clip, though, you're sitting there, you're doing like resistance band stuff, you're doing little push-ups. You got to be. You got to get your brother's got to get your pump on.
You got to do a couple of push-ups to get to look like that.
Mate,
you know,
girls get the girls, you know that.
Yeah.
Now, have you heard, because you're going to be performing Better Days for us after the break, have you heard that there is a new phrase that comes with being hungover? If someone's had, do you know this?
Yes.
Explain it to those who don't know.
Well, it's in the Urban Dictionary now. So, and I think when you're hungover, it's people say, oh, I'm feeling a bit Pete Murray. Seen better days. So I'm kind of concerned because my future, probably young kids who don't know me will probably only know me because of them getting drunk. And that's my fear. You know, so.
Well, I reckon being able to be hungover but looking great in a muscle shirt, that should be the new Pete Murray. If someone's like looking really jacked in a muscle shirt, it's like, mate, you're looking very Pete Murray.
I like that. Let's change it. Let's change it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're very excited that you're going to be back to perform for us. And Pete is heading out on his Unplugged tour. Ticket details are on the website. Stick around because Pete is about to perform Better Days for us live. We'll see you after the break. Oh, we love it when we've got some live music on the show. Pete Murray is with us. Now, we mentioned you've got a new single out. Does that mean new album soon?
October, new album, yeah. So this is my second independent album. The first one, well, The Game is the first one. But so it's exciting times, mate. This is the second single just come out now.
And then are you all set for rehearsals before you hit the road on the longest tour you're ever going to do in your human life? It's madness.
I've got to start to...
We're not young people anymore.
Can you let me talk, right? I've got to learn my songs, yeah. I've got to learn, you know, just how they go again. So I'll see if I can get through this one first. It's been 20 years today, so that's a long time.
Well, we're ready to go. Can't wait for this. This will be special. Welcome back to the project. Pete Murray, here he goes. Take it away.
And I saw it coming. I saw emptiness and tragedy. And I felt like running so far away, but I knew I had to stay. And I know when I'm older, I look back and I still feel the pain. I know I'll be stronger, and I know I'll be fine the rest of my days. I've seen better days, my face and my hands, down on my knees, and I pray to God, hope He sees me through till the end. And I noticed most things, but I didn't notice the change. It was hot in the morning, But then it turned so cold. Towards the end of the day, there was no conversation. I just felt like I was in space. When I needed my friends there, I just turned around. They were gone without a trace. I've seen better days. My face in my hands. Down on my knees and I pray to God. Hope he sees me through till the end.
Don't forget, we'll see you 6 o'clock Sunday for the Sunday Project. And don't forget, join us next week for all the fun that we normally have on the show. Thank you once again, Pete Murray, everybody. New single out now, album coming soon. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy your fast cars if that's what you're into. Good night.